Welcome to my channel. Enjoy this video and subscribe my channel. 90 Day Fiancé Season 11 has 7 couples. But something about Gregory, Chillak and Joan Kruchov makes fans curious as they wonder if the pair stayed together and made their relationship work. Greg, from Long Island, is one of the 8 American cast members in the season who's found love in a different part of the world and decided to bring them home on a K-1 visa. Joan is an NGO director from Kampala, Uganda. Greg and Joan were in a long-distance relationship for 4 years before Joan could join in America on 90 Day Fiancé. Greg is already receiving backlash from fans who have been ridiculing his life choices. Greg is especially disliked for not having a plan and then being a mama's boy who's been compared to 90 Day Fiancé icon Colt Johnson. Joan flew to the US in episode 2 with hopes and dreams after throwing away her life in Uganda, where she could have thrived without Greg and not have to deal with Greg's mother tracking how many times Joan took hot showers. Will Joan dump Greg on 90 Day Fiancé to head back home? How did Joan meet? Greg met Joan because he fell asleep on a man's shoulder in a plane, and the man turned out to be from Uganda, East Africa. The man owned a safari company, and after talking to him for 6.5 hours straight, he ended up inviting Greg to Uganda. Greg checked into his guest house and saw Joan within the first hour and a half of being in Uganda. They chatted a little bit and Greg even told her about his weight loss journey. A year later, Greg was still thinking about her. Still to this day, Greg is not sure how Joan found her on social media. He was thinking of her, and suddenly he'd received a friend request. I could not believe it. Greg continued. Things just took off from there as they started chatting on WhatsApp. Greg ended up going back to Uganda, and he proposed to her on her birthday. Challenges faced by Joan on 90 Day Fiancé. 90 Day Fiancé's Greg and Joan encountered challenges due to their starkly different backgrounds, including Greg's living situation with his mother and his financial instability. In contrast to Joan's career as an NGO director, Greg lived with his mother on Long Island, and Joan was initially hesitant about living with them, preferring to have her own space for privacy. Greg's baking career wasn't a successful one, and Joan found out he had rejected a state job offer. Joan was skeptical about Greg's mother, Lucille, and the rules she enforced, such as not sharing a bed with Greg. Did Joan get married on 90 Day Fiancé? Despite Joan wondering if coming to the US was the right decision for her, considering she craved a spouse with financial stability and a place of his own. She and Greg are still together after 90 Day Fiancé, which also means they got married too. 90 Day Fiancé _Alexa reposted some of Greg's recent Instagram stories where Greg is showing his love for his partner through a quote and a different picture showing Joan's hand placed on his with her wearing a large diamond ring on her ring finger, revealing their current relationship status.